Keir Starmer is absolutely disgusting. So Diane Abbott will most likely not be chosen as Hackney's Labour candidate, but the details surrounding it will truly shock you. So as we know, Diane was suspended a year ago, but for some reason, her investigation was still ongoing to this day. Well, that's what we thought anyway. It turns out the investigation had finished 5 months ago. More than a year on, Sir Keir insisted there was an ongoing investigation into Miss Abbott and that he could not get involved in the case. But a Newsnight report claimed the investigation into Miss Abbott was completed in December. She was given a formal warning over her conduct and required to complete an anti-Semitism awareness course, which she completed in February. A source close to Miss Abbott told the BBC programme that she had not been told whether she would be allowed to stand for the Labour Party in Hackney North and Stoke Newington, where she was elected in 1987. So for 5 months, Keir Starmer has been lying to Diane and everybody else about her position. Now, to me, it was very obvious that Labour were going to drag out the investigation until after the selection process, essentially pushing her out, which hasn't played out exactly like that. It's managed to be even worse. There are discussions among senior aides to Sir Keir Starmer about restoring her to the Labour whip before the election to allow her to leave politics with dignity. Dignity! Dignity! Restoring the whip and potentially blocking her is actually worse than just keeping her suspended. It's far more insulting. And there's something pretty haunting about a white man making decisions for a black woman and thinking, well, that should make her grateful, shouldn't it? Nothing speaks with more dignity than dragging out an investigation, then not telling anyone when it ended, and now basically saying, here's the whip back, but it won't matter since we're kicking you out anyway. Starmer has always lied by claiming that he doesn't intervene in the disciplinary process. That's all he ever does. And we know he's lying because we have a clip of him claiming the investigation is still ongoing.
Do you believe that Natalie Elphicke represents today's Labour Party better than Diane Abbott?
Well, Natalie Elphicke has crossed the floor to Labour because she says that the Tories have become a byword for incompetence, and she thinks Labour is the only party that can take us forward. She has become a member. That means she accepts Labour's values. Diane Abbott, of course, has been a long-standing Labour MP, a trailblazer in many areas, and done incredible work as an MP. She is going through and being part of, getting to the end of a disciplinary process.
But here's the thing, if they're going to restore the whip, that means that she is eligible to stand. So why isn't she automatically the candidate? There's no logic here, and Starmer can't pretend that the decision is out of his hands. Now, I have said on multiple occasions that Labour is racist, but I'm now saying that I think that personally, Keir Starmer is racist. He's potentially going to end the career of Diane Abbott, and given that he's made it his business to rig the rules or completely ignore them, I can say that this is obviously personally on him. She is the first black woman MP who has faced years and years of disgusting abuse, and this is how she's treated. If you're an ethnic minority, Starmer isn't interested unless you agree with him. I mean, the way he treats Jewish people who are critical of Israel or just anti-Zionists, he expels them. Remember when just a few months ago, Frank Hester made those obscene racist comments about Diane, and then the Labour Party put out a fundraising email weaponising Diane and the racism she received just to take people's money, only for them to do this. Starmer is a dangerous individual. This is how he treats people of colour. Imagine him with the power of the state and a huge majority with a bunch of briefcase corporate yes men behind him. It's not out of the question that a Starmer-led Labour government would treat minorities worse than the Tories because he has an authoritarian streak inside him. There's no defence here. Starmer's supporters can't excuse him for this one. If it's about Diane's comments that got her suspended in the first place, then why would she potentially get the whip back? Either she has the whip and is selected to stand, or she doesn't and stays as an independent. This is hardly smart politics. Even if you don't like her, surely there should be basic decency. But Starmer and the Labour right have none. If you're Steve Reid, Barry Shearman or Neil Coyle, that's okay. It doesn't matter that they made racist remarks. It doesn't matter if they assaulted anyone. You're on the Labour right. Welcome in. If you're a Tory MP who is anti-abortion, defends their husband who committed sexual assault and gaslit the victims, yes, of course, I'm talking about Natalie Elphicke, welcome to the party. But God forbid that you're a black socialist who made a mistake, but has served their constituents as a Labour MP for 37 years. Nope, you're out. Now, those around Starmer have briefed the BBC saying that she can't stand because of even more spurious reasons.
There is an even stronger view amongst supporters of Keir Starmer that Diane Abbott must not stand in this election. So what the Keir Starmer group are saying, allies close to the leader of the Labour Party, is they want dignity for Diane Abbott. One of his allies described her to me as an icon of the Labour movement. But they equally say that Diane Abbott cannot stay because she is, in their view, a reminder of the Jeremy Corbyn era, which they say was an era of failure. And one ally told me that on the doorstep, that incident where Diane Abbott, when she was Shadow Home Secretary in a general election campaign, struggling to sort of explain the numbers behind a policy, they say that comes up on the doorstep and that is damaging.
An MP of 37 years, but she shouldn't be the candidate because she forgot some numbers, and then another aide saying, well, she reminded them of the Corbyn era. I mean, they are openly just saying this is purely factional now, and it's disgusting. What's more is that, first of all, that was during the 2017 election, where Labour won 40% of the vote and increased seats for the first time since Blair. And Diane also came out and explained that she was diagnosed with diabetes and it affected her interviews. Now, this whole thing seems to be dragging on because today, Starmer has now come out with this. New, Sir Keir Starmer insists it's not true that Diane Abbott has been barred from being a Labour candidate. The process that we were going through ended with the restoration of the whip the other day, so she's a member of the PLP, and no decision has been taken barring her. Which, let's be honest, it's another lie. She won't be the candidate. They've already decided that long ago. In fact, I would say we pretty much have confirmation on that from Michael Crick. Hackney North and Stoke Newington. I'm told that Hackney Councillor and Deputy Mayor Antoinette Bramble is the Starmerites' chosen candidate for Diane Abbott's seat, so Luke Akehurst may have to look elsewhere. Well, I mean, good news about Luke Akehurst, but you can just tell that Starmer already has their own candidate that they want to shoe in. Now, will this authoritarian leadership really survive in government? I mean, I really hope, however unlikely it is, that there is somehow enough people in the party to dispose of Starmer because he is absolutely unfit to be in power. He is the worst Labour leader that has ever existed, and I say that because I'm utterly convinced that Starmer would have taken us into Iraq. It is imperative that you don't vote for these lying thugs. The Labour right are a bunch of horrible, nasty people. You cannot give them your vote. Don't reward this behaviour because they'll only be far worse in power.